The next speaker here at Docday is Salih Hendricks from South Africa. Salih, you've been living with type 1 and you will be talking about something, and I think it's very important that we bring topics to Docday that are not necessarily always nice to talk about. You know, we have been doing a lot of type 1 advocacy in the past. We have now been talking a little bit about type 2, etc. We also need to talk about complications and of some of the stories behind what can happen without wanting to scare people. But you are a prime example of, I already see it now that I have you here on my big monitor. You're laughing out there. Please I don't want to take it away. Share your story, Salih Hendricks from South Africa.
Hi, everybody. Thank you Bastian, for inviting me. And I feel honored to be part of this Docday. It's actually my first Docday. And I've been a diabetic. I've always used this term, a diabetic, never classifying myself as a type 1. So I am a type 1 diabetic for the last 39 years. And last year, October 2020, I had some complications because previously, for the last, you can say 4.5 years, I was actually walking with pain. And I couldn't walk for more than 20 meters without resting and then continuing my walk. And of course, last year, 2020, August, I had a bypass in my leg and that failed. I had the stents in September. The blood flow failed. Then, of course, the last option was amputation. And due to the pain that I had and everything, the morning after my amputation, I woke up with a relief, no pain. And it wasn't because I was actually drugged out of my mind or anything. I had a relief that there wasn't any pain. But the whole perception of complications and things with diabetes is I've accepted my diabetes from the beginning. Last year was the amputation. I accepted it. And to me, I moved on. With all the rehab, I was introduced to a beautiful company, that treated me with my prosthesis and my prosthetic legs and thing. So yes, the challenges for the complications is great, but acceptance and working around your strengths to have a wonderful support system from doctors to physiotherapists to prosthesis. And of course, it's all up to you to make the best out of everything. And during the last year, I became independent. I got my, the controls for my car so that I can actually drive. My prosthetic leg was made. I became independent with my mobility. And how we actually live our lives as diabetics, for me, it is a powerful mindset and a positive approach. And living with diabetes is not easy. You have your ups and your downs, but with a positiveness or a beautiful approach and acceptance to everything that has actually come your way, you can live a beautiful life. And if we want to change, we have to change. So yes, with all the complications that I've got, I don't only have the amputation. I'm partially blind in my left eye because of my veins bursting behind my eyes. So these are all the complications that we actually get. Stigmas that is affiliated with everything. And as people have actually spoken about, stigmas are the blaming game. Even with your partners, I mean, they will always tell you, you lost your leg because you didn't look after yourself. And support in this diabetes world is actually something that is the greatest thing. Your mental health was for me, with anxiety and depression knocking on my door, I have to be so careful on how I actually go into something where I can actually be there forever. But being resilient, I have to bounce out immediately. So with this journey in this year, I've actually achieved a lot. I'm here today on Docday. I'm back at work. And so for me, I just kept on moving on and never giving up. Diabetes hasn't actually steered me away. I don't call myself a type 1, I'm a diabetic. And for the last 39 years, I'm a diabetic and now a diabetic amputee. Back to you, Sebastian.
Salih, thank you very much for taking the courage to speak so openly about your journey of the last 39 years, but specifically about this last year and a half, where the road has become very rough for you, and how you are now, as you're saying, you've moved on. You sound a bit like a diabetes Zen master to me, sitting there smiling, being very sincere and aware of what has happened, and not pinking it rosé and saying everything is great, but saying that, I'm resilient. You said I'm resilient. I've moved on. I'm back at work. I can drive again. I think it is very, very, very important for people out there to hear that. Of course, complications are part of not necessarily the reality for everyone living with diabetes, but they can happen. There is no preventing or making sure you never get it. There's always risks involved for that. Depends on a whole number of factors. But putting this into this framework of what we're talking about right now, stigmatization and how media, etc., also talk about it, you mentioned it yourself, even within your own family is so important. But for me, the most important thing is to see you here at Docday smiling, saying, I'm fine, I'm resilient, I'm moving on. It's a very, very important lifting up message for everybody out there who may be struggling with complications of any sorts. Thank you very, very much for sharing your story.